How's it going, and welcome to No Fun Alloved's guide series on Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at my 5 most favorite things about this module. This module has its highs, it does have its lows, but we won't be covering any negativity, none of that around here. But we will be having spoilers, so players that plan on playing in this excellent module do not stick around. But DMs that want added insight on what I think makes this adventure tick extremely well, go ahead and stick around because we have a lot to cover. We are diving right into this with number 1, the area of Icewind Dale itself. This place is unique. It is not like all the other modules that take place in luscious fields or vibrant locations. This place is dark, it is scary, it is cold, it is miserable. The people here are hardy because they've had to survive these horrible conditions for so long, and they will continue to do so, but maybe not for much longer. This location is deadly. Icewind Dale makes for an amazing set piece of a location for you to run amazing adventures out of. There is so much to work with here. The frigid cold, the scary mountains, the perpetual darkness that lies all around. This place is great. And it's not just Icewind Dale, it's specifically the 10 towns too. These places are oozing with flavor. The tight-knit communities that are all bundled up. The fact that you can't see too many people. The fact that people don't want to go outside, but people have to in order to survive. There's so much you can work with there, and it really adds to the amazing location that is this module. Number 2 on the list here is the variety in the quest. Specifically, a ton of them are thrown at you at chapters 1 and 2. And through all of these quests, we get a huge variety. You are going into all kinds of places. You are interacting with a whole bunch of different entities. You are moving about this place and shaking up so much of the world. You have quests that cause you to scale mountains, to cross frozen tundras, to face horrible monstrosities that are just lying out there waiting for you. Quests do not repeat here, and that is great. Variety is the spice of life and death in this module, and it serves up a ton for us to work with. Number 3 on the list here, we are open to themes. And what do I mean by that? I mean that this module on paper is written as a horror survival game, and you can go ahead and amplify that should you desire. Or you can go ahead and say, hey, I don't like horror in my games, I'm just going to make this a high-octane action adventure a la Die Hard. And it works. No matter which way you push this adventure, it works wonderfully well. Do you want this module to have an old school style and flair where you're tracking resources, where you are going up against the elements and struggling day by day to survive? Or are you going to go ahead and say, hey, you are badass heroes that are going out doing awesome things and nothing is going to stop you? Do you want to dip into the horror that people are willing to sacrifice other people in order to survive? Do you want to take that even a step further and introduce such entities as aberrations and aliens into this campaign and draw upon that cosmic horror that bends the reality of the world around you? Do you want this game to be about drawing companions to your side and forming a tight-knit community that works together? Or do you want everyone to be separated with a wedge in between, hammering in the theme of isolation? No matter which way you go ahead and take the approach, it works extremely well. It fits right in with almost no effort involved at all. For number 4 on the list here, we have that old school dungeon crawl. I love old school, and this module gives us an amazing climax at the end here, where you go up against not 1 but 2 old school dungeon crawls. You're going up against harrowing and evil monsters. You are going to a ton of locations that are extremely fleshed out, and I love it. Throughout the entirety of the campaign, you get into tiny little dungeons with only 1, 2, or 3 rooms, but near the end, you are going into dungeons with dozens of set-piece locations that are each memorable in their own regard. And these places are deadly. If you play them up to the fullest, you're going to have some dead PCs on your hand, and that is going to drive home the fact that this is not a place to mess around in. Your players are going to have to work together to face the odds, and hopefully with a combination of good tactics, good rolls, and luck on their side, they will be able to make it through. But obviously, if they do not come together as a group, there will be some death and sadness in the party. And number 5 on my list of things that I love about this module is the NPCs. All of these NPCs that your players can be interacting with can have such a tremendous impact on the entirety of this campaign. When you introduce them, where you introduce them, what they say, and what they do will help guide your players into resolving whatever troubles lie before them. Do you have the Arcane Brotherhood show up early and they go ahead and tease the fact that there's something far greater in this land? Do your players have continual fights with the Durgar leading up to an amazing assault and eventually a dragon fight that takes place all around the 10 towns? Does O'Reilly herself drop down from the skies above to issue a warning against any who would stand against her? There is a lot of things you can do with these NPCs. And it's important to remember that, yes, some of these NPCs are just merely commoners that are going to be standing around the 10 towns all day, but some of them are adventurous just like your players and are going out and doing things. Your players will be interacting with them time and time again, whether they keep on going back to that 10 town or they find them out in the world or all around. It's important to cultivate those relationships because those are going to fit extremely well into the end game. Whether your players find them in the lost city of Ythryn, whether they stand side by side when they're facing O'Reilly, or whatever else happens in this crazy climactic finish that you have cooked up. These NPCs will help cement your players into the world and it'll make them feel like this is a lived-in world, as it should be. This is a place that your players have shown up to and they should fit in right at home, or maybe not, and that's part of the flair. As your players make friends with these NPCs and they live on to do great things or live on to do terrible things and maybe even die, that is going to have memorable impacts on your campaign, whether they are good NPCs, bad NPCs, or morally gray. And just like that, list done. 5 things that I really appreciate about this campaign because I feel like this is one of the better campaigns that is out there. Obviously, it does require a bit of work, and I know a lot of DMs haven't run through this yet as the time of this recording. But I promise you, as the years go on and more content is being released for this module by the community, and once more people start getting a feel for this module, it will go down as fantastic. There's a lot of awesome themes you can draw upon this campaign. There's a lot of amazing set piece locations you can go ahead and show off to your players, and these NPCs are the biggest factor in the whole campaign. They will be the ones to show your players to the gateway of amazing adventures to come in the lands of Icewind Dale. So go ahead and tell me, what are your favorite things about this module? What are your favorite things about this location in general? There is, of course, a lot of history with Icewind Dale, whether that be in books, video games, or older modules. There is a lot to go into this adventure, and of course, this one module for 5th edition only could fit in so much. It's already 300 pages long, but you can always go back and find more crazy things out there. Go ahead and tell me what your favorite things are. I would love to hear it. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to my amazing patrons. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so very much. That is going to do it for me for this one, though. Thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.